Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're zooming in on part 5 of our source material. And honestly, it's the absolute beating heart of the AI financial bubble debate, the revenue versus spend gap. We're going to look strictly at the mechanics of how this money is moving and, more importantly, when anyone actually expects it to come back. To really ground us in the sheer scale of what we're talking about, we are looking at an investment base of over $500 billion pouring directly into AI infrastructure. Just take a second to digest that number. We aren't talking about some scrappy software startups pivoting to chatbots here. We're talking about a historic, monumental reallocation of global capital. $500 billion committed to buying GPUs, building massive data centers, and wiring up facilities. This is heavy physical industry trying to scale at the speed of software.
And that brings us to the central problem. There is this massive, glaring disconnect between the frantic pace at which money is being spent and the sobering reality of how long it actually takes to monetize these systems. Capital is being deployed at warp speed, right? But the monetization reality, well, it's moving at a sluggish, traditional corporate pace. The core argument for this bubble isn't necessarily that AI is just a fad. It's simply that the math between how fast we're spending and how fast we're earning is fundamentally breaking down.
So let's look at agitation 1, unavoidable timeline slippage.
Because, as it turns out, you can't just write $1 billion check and hit download on a massive new data center. Capital committed today absolutely does not equal instant infrastructure. We're hitting some very stubborn, real-world physical bottlenecks. First up, power grid limitations. AI data centers need an astronomical amount of electricity, and frankly, our existing grids literally cannot handle the sudden load. Second, construction labor shortages. You need highly skilled workers to build these specialized facilities, and there just aren't enough of them. And finally, permitting constraints. Local governments, they move at the speed of bureaucracy, not the speed of Silicon Valley. So those golden shovels stay in the shed way longer than the financial models assume.
All of these physical constraints add an unavoidable 12 to 24 months of timeline slippage. This means that across that massive $500 billion investment base, the financial consequences are already baked in. Think about what that does to a financial model. If you've got billions of dollars tied up for an extra year or two before a single dollar of revenue can be generated from that infrastructure, the return on investment math gets severely stressed. And that's completely regardless of what actual AI demand looks like.
Moving on to agitation 2, the game theoretic trap.
So shifting from physical roadblocks to the psychological staring contest happening in boardrooms right now, we find a classic game theoretic trap. This is a scenario where rational actors know collective investment is excessive, but no competitor can unilaterally reduce spending without severe competitive risk. If you read between the lines of what tech CEOs and CFOs are saying, you see rational actors trapped in a totally irrational system. Everyone knows the collective industry-wide investment might be excessive, but literally nobody can afford to be the first to blink. If you cut your spending and you're wrong, you lose the defining tech race of the century. So you just keep spending, even if the math looks terrifying.
The real problem with this dynamic is how it eventually ends. Historically, a high-stakes staring contest like this doesn't resolve with a smooth, coordinated landing where everyone just politely agrees to scale back. No, it resolves through an abrupt external shock. Because no one's going to voluntarily step off the gas pedal, the market usually just has to wait for a brick wall to force the issue.
Which brings us to a genuinely terrifying question for anyone writing those billion-dollar checks for data centers. Does more compute automatically equal better AI? That entire $500 billion spree is built on one foundational assumption, that throwing infinitely more compute at AI models will automatically yield proportionally better AI capabilities. But what if that relationship isn't linear?
That brings us to agitation 3, the DeepSeek efficiency shock.
In January 2025, we got exactly the kind of brick wall external shock we were just talking about, but it arrived from a purely engineering breakthrough, not a financial crash. DeepSeek proved that the relationship between compute and AI capability is not linear. They showed that brain power and academic efficiency can suddenly decouple AI capability from massive compute investment. By using highly efficient architectures, they proved to the world that you don't necessarily need the biggest, most expensive, power-hungry data center to produce incredible reasoning models. It completely shattered the assumption that brute force spending is the only path to the frontier of AI.
The ripple effect here is absolutely profound. Just think about it. If developers can get the exact same AI performance using a fraction of the computing power, well, the projected demand for all those incredibly expensive, delayed data centers drops. And if projected demand drops, the valuations built on top of that demand have to face a harsh correction. The infrastructure investment assumptions embedded in current valuations will require rapid downward revision if this efficiency continues to improve.
Now let's look at resolution, the long-term reality.
Taking a breath here, it's really important to separate short-term financial bubbles from long-term technological revolutions, because they aren't mutually exclusive. Even the most skeptical analysts agree, the debate is about timeline, not direction. The underlying technology isn't wrong, we are literally just fighting over when the profits arrive. It's so reminiscent of the dot-com bubble, or even the railroad mania of the 1840s. The internet did change everything, right? And railroads did undergird the Industrial Revolution. The tech was a massive success. It was just the initial financial timelines and assumptions of near-term monetization that were deeply flawed.
So what does the actual path forward look like? It really boils down to 3 steps. Step 1, the current infrastructure is overbuilt for our near-term needs, driven mostly by panic. Step 2, as the technology matures and integrates into the broader economy, long-term demand eventually grows. And Step 3, the infrastructure built today finally finds productive uses and becomes appropriately sized. This fundamentally limits the permanent loss of capital because, hey, those data centers aren't just going to sit empty forever. Which leaves us with this final, provocative thought to chew on. If the future is certain, but the timeline is delayed, who survives the gap before demand catches up to the infrastructure? The winners won't necessarily be the ones who built the most infrastructure the fastest. The winners will be the ones with the financial endurance to hold their breath through the delays, the efficiency shocks, and the monetization lag until that long-term demand finally catches up. Thanks for joining me on this explainer. I really hope it helps clarify exactly what's going on under the hood of the AI market today.